Now, an attempt to lower ATM crimes has proven to be a new tool for fraudsters. The recent reverse PIN initiative by the South African Police Service was launched last year. However, things didn't go according to plan. Having dealt with many fraud cases, the South African Banking Risk Information Centre, or SABRIC, which ensures South African banking is safe, secure, and free of fraud. We've got the CEO in the studio with us, Kalyani Pillay, who's going to share some of the recent developments in ATM scams with us. Good to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Leanne.
All right, so we talk about this reverse PIN initiative that didn't work as well as was expected. Talk to me about this. What happened?
It was actually a scam that the perpetrators were using to say to people, you know, if you put your PIN number in backwards, that it would alert the police. It was actually a scam that the perpetrators were communicating. It's not the position at all. If you have a problem at an ATM and if you need assistance, you need to call the bank's fraud number that's provided.
Yeah.
It's usually found in an ATM, and we always encourage people to actually keep that number on their phone so that it's easily accessible. Alternatively, you leave the ATM. Don't take help from anybody.
Yeah.
Leave the ATM, go to the police if you have actually lost money, and report the matter. But there's no such thing as putting any number in backwards. It's really what the perpetrators will communicate to their potential victims.
It's amazing that there just always seems to be new scams coming up every single day of how people are, you know, robbed at ATMs, or the fraud that happens at ATMs. What is it? I mean, how do we find ourselves in this situation? We try and educate people, and yet it doesn't work.
Unfortunately, I think it's an emotional thing as well. You know, the perpetrators know that when somebody goes to an ATM, they're usually sort of fairly desperate to get some cash. You know, so you want to go there, draw money out and leave. And when you put your card in and put your PIN number in, you expect the transaction to take place. But perpetrators often interfere with the ATMs, and unfortunately the bank can't monitor every single ATM every single minute of the day. You know, you have certain mechanisms in place. And the perpetrators know this. So they would go into the ATM beforehand, they would put something in so that it may even trap your card or prevent your card from going all the way in. They know when you go in, you're going to have this problem. They come up to you and they offer assistance. And that's why we say don't ever take any help from anybody at an ATM, because the perpetrators design it. This is part of their modus operandi. And then they come up to you and they say, look, I've had the same problem. Can I help you? And then, of course, you think, gosh, somebody's going to help me. And sometimes they even wear clothes that have the logo of the bank, so it gives the impression that this is a bank employee. Yeah. And so the message is do not take help from anybody. If your card gets jammed in the machine, contact the bank's call center number immediately and get them to stop your card. But don't allow anyone to stand too close to you. Shoulder surfing is another way that people get the PIN number. If they've got a card skimmer in and it's going to skim your card when it goes in, they need your PIN number. Yeah. So, you know, shoulder surfing, they come too close to you, they watch from behind, and that's why we say always, it's a not negotiable. Cover the keypad with the hand that you're not going to be inserting the PIN with. So you cover with one hand, you put the PIN number in, and then only do you take your hand away.
Take your hand away. Let's get back to this reverse PIN thing, because it seems to be doing its rounds. So for people that haven't heard of it, it's a recent scam that if you should ever be forced by a robber to withdraw money from an ATM machine, you enter your PIN in reverse. For example, if your PIN number is 1234, then you would enter 4321. And by entering this, you'll notify the police, and then the police will come immediately. This is nonsense.
Absolute.
Absolute nonsense. And I think we need to emphasize this. Yeah. You're not suddenly going to enter your PIN backwards and a police officer is going to pop up.
Of course, absolutely not, because what the perpetrator is doing, he wants your PIN number. Yeah. And if they tell you to put your PIN number in, you'll get a little suspicious. But if they say to you, put it backwards, you sort of, you know, think that, okay, you know, this is going to be... It's not at all. It's their way to obtain your PIN number.
No. So what can we do? I know you said, you know, go to a police station or do whatever, but, I mean, that's... If you're standing at an ATM, it's difficult to get this.
The important thing is, if you're at an ATM and if your card, your transaction is not working, it's not happening, if you can take your card out, take it out yourself. Don't allow anybody to help you. Leave that ATM, go to another ATM, alternatively go into a bank branch and tell them you've had a problem. So do not take help from anybody. No matter how desperate you are for your cash, don't allow them ever to touch your card that's gone into the machine, because what happens is that when you put your card in and it has a problem, they come in to offer to help, but they actually swap your card. They take your card, they do it so quickly, and because you're flustered that you haven't been able to do this transaction, you tend not to watch them as closely. They swap your card, they'll put another card in, put your card into their back pocket or into their pocket. They'll then say to you, all right, we've put the card back in, insert your number. Yeah. And then, of course, they remember your number, and they go to the nearest ATM after that, and they withdraw those funds as quick as possible. And by the time you realize it, your money's gone. Oh. You know, so don't take help at an ATM from anybody at all, even if they're wearing the uniform or appear to be wearing the uniform of a bank. Yeah. And just cover the keypad and keep the bank's call center number in your phone at all times.
You know, it's so bizarre because you want to, as a consumer, go into the bank rather and get the money out the bank. But it's more expensive if you go into the bank. They want you to use the ATM. So you're almost in this situation where, what do you do?
The banks are trying to make banking as easy and as accessible for their clients as possible. They offer ATMs, they have internet banking solutions, they have cell phone banking solutions. Unfortunately, the perpetrators use these solutions that the banks actually provide, and they almost follow these in terms of having new modus operandi that actually assists them in doing what they want to do, you know, and defrauding people of money. So the important thing for bank customers, irrespective of which platform you're using, whether it's ATMs, whether it's internet banking, whether it's cell phone banking, know what the scams are, know how you can protect yourself, because you can actually use all of those platforms very safely. Just be vigilant at all times. Don't allow anyone to help you. Just go ahead, and even with internet banking for that matter, you know, make sure, go onto the SABRIC website. You know, you'll get all of the advice that you need. Go onto your bank's website. All the advice is there. And if ever you're not sure, go into a bank branch and ask someone at the bank. They'll always help you to give you better ways in which to do things and tell you what to look out for.
All right, well, if you want that, the website for SABRIC, I've got it open here. It's www.sabric, and then my computer locks. Is it .co.za? Is it .co.za? Okay, yes. I have to unlock my computer. That's just typical.
You could also go onto our Facebook page, SABRIC ZA, or you could follow us on Twitter as well.
All right.
And if you need any advice, by all means, ask.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for talking to us. It's never nice. It really isn't nice when you suddenly know you've got X amount of money in your bank account and then somebody else takes it due to fraud, and it's not, it really, the chances of you getting that money back from the bank are zero, is it, in ATM fraud?
Well, the bank will certainly investigate each matter, and they'd look at the merits of the matter before they make a decision.
Yeah. Okay, but it's not the route to go. Just be safe rather than sorry. That was Kalyani Pillay, who is the CEO of SABRIC, sharing with us a couple of ways to avoid ATM fraud scams and how to be cautious when using an ATM. Now, the principal business of SABRIC is to detect, prevent and reduce organized crime in the banking industry through effective public-private partnerships. All right, let's